With that, I became so emotionally thrilled. I felt myself drawn into this body that was on the bed. For this took place in the spirit world. I felt myself drawn into this body, and this hand was a vortex, this hand was a vortex, my head a vortex, my feet vortices, and my side, the right side, a vortex. And I knew then what the crucifixion was. It was sheer ecstasy. It wasn't painful at all. You can't describe the thrill of these 6 vortices nailing me to this body. So you're told in the 10th of John, no one takes away my life. I lay it down myself. I have the power to lay it down, and I have the power to lift it up again. And in spite of that statement, they teach year after year that a group of men murdered him and nailed him to a wooden cross. He is not nailed to any wooden cross. The universal Christ is nailed on humanity. This is the cross. And he did it willingly. I lay it down myself. No one took it from me. And I experienced that night. So you can bring all the arguments in the world about this little stigmata. That's no stigmata. There was no blood running there. The whole hand, both hands, whirling vortices, and the head a whirling vortex, and the side a whirling vortex, and both feet, the soles of my feet, vortices. And they are 6. Yes, sir.
I was going to ask you how you interpret the role of Judas Iscariot.
Judas, I am self-betrayed. No one knows me but myself. No one knows the thoughts of a man but the Spirit of man who dwells in him. Likewise, no one knows the thoughts of God but the Spirit of God. Therefore, if I betrayed God, I would have to be the Spirit of God, one who has the secret. And so it's self-betrayed. One night in a room about the size of this, and here I am, sitting on the floor, with 12 men before me sitting on the floor. We're all dressed in robes, and I'm teaching the Word of God. A man, one of these 12, jumps up quickly, and the moment he jumped up, I knew exactly what he was going to do. He was going to tell the authorities what I was teaching. He went through the only door. As he went through, and I knew what would happen, a tall, handsome man, about 6'4", in most costly robes, came in, erect, a man about 40, 44. He walked straight down the side, turned at right angles, walked straight down the side, turned at right angles, and walked down the middle. But as he entered, he was one of such authority, we all rose. He was one of tremendous authority in that community. And we all stood at attention. I facing my 11 now. He came on down, and he turned towards me. And he took a wooden mallet and a wooden peg, and he hammered it into my right shoulder. Blow after blow into my shoulder. Then he took a very sharp instrument, and with one circular motion like this, he severed my sleeve, and then pulled it, and pulled off the sleeve, and discarded it. And I saw it, a lovely shade of light baby blue. Then he stretched his arms out this way, and he embraced it, and kissed me on the right side of my neck. And I kissed him on the right side of his neck. And as I kissed him, still embracing him, the whole scene faded. Here is the 53rd chapter of Isaiah. To whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? It's all symbolism, but the whole thing is true. That was the betrayal. For you are now nailed. The peg goes in, as you're told, I will now put upon you all the authority of Israel, and you will rule it for a season. Then I will break the peg, and that weight that you carry will be taken from you. But who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He unveils the right arm, which is the symbol of power. At that moment in time when he rises in you, and you are going to rule as he rules. And that's the story. So the whole story is true, but it's all vision. It's not secular history. It's salvation history. And the world treats the whole Bible as secular history. And it's not secular history at all. The whole thing takes place above. He said, I am from above, and ye are from below. You're of this world, I'm not of this world. And so the whole drama is unfolding above. It's a mystical drama. Any other questions, please? Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah.
And you said that over here to that age. Would you mean that age or just here?
Well, freedom is that age. No one is free by dying here, because death here is restoration in a world just like this. No one, I don't care who you are, you could be 90 years old now, and if you drop this very moment, you're restored to life, not as an infant, someone about 20 years of age. And you're not old, you're young, and any missing part, teeth, hair, limbs, all restored. Unbelievably new and unaccountably new. You can't account for it. How can someone cremated, turn to dust, and stand before me 20 years old? And when they dropped, they looked like 1,000. They were so old and withered. And here suddenly before me stands this beautiful either woman or man, 20 years old, in a world terrestrial just like this, in a body that is physical just like this. Cut it, it will bleed. And they age there as they age here, and they die there as they die here. And so there's no escape from this until resurrection. And resurrection comes to the individual. It doesn't come collectively. It comes while we walk in this earth. The individual is raised and set free from this bondage to decay, and becomes then one with the risen Lord. Because there's only one body, one Spirit, one Lord, one God and Father of all.
What about a child? When a child dies,
Continues to grow. Continues to grow. He is the God of the living, not the God of the dead. This world is the world of dead. People won't believe it. Everything here is dead. If you see it from above, well, you'll have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. If you see this from above, everything here is like, well, something that is dead. And you can come down, you can't change it from above, strangely enough. I've tried to change it from above. Look at the body, it's on the bed, and it looks like something like a carcass that is dead. Well, if you know exactly the wisdom is from above, if you can only do with it now, while you're there with the clarity of vision, but you can't do it. You've got to come down and occupy it. And then you forget. This is the world of death. Yes, sir. Pardon me? Animals? I only know this much. One night I found myself at the top of a very tall ladder. And below me, I would say the forest. The beasts of the forest, like tigers, lions, jaguars, all the wild beasts of the forest. And they were angry, and I was afraid. I stood on the very top rung, and I was really concerned for my safety. They were angry looking and moving with all the anger of the world. Then it dawned upon me, but that's myself made visible. That is a creative power, enormous power in me. I arrested the activity in me, not in them, and they all stood still. They were frozen as though they were made of clay. I came down the ladder, and they were dead. Their life was in me. I came upon a scene, a simple little scene, and the scene was just like a Sunday afternoon dinner. And they were dining, and the minute I saw them dining, I knew that if I could arrest the activity which I was feeling within me, that these people would go still. They'd all be still. But I had no sooner entertained the thought than I did. I froze my head. As I did so, here was a foursome, two young fellows, about 21, 23 years old, and their parents in their middle 40s. And one fellow facing me was having soup, and he had just brought the soup spoon this far. When I froze the activity in my head, he couldn't move it. The waitress coming through the door with the second course, she stopped in her tracks. Everything stopped. A bird flying flew not. The grass waving waved not. Leaves falling fell not. Everything froze. And when I released the activity in me, all things continued in their course. The bird that was frozen and arrested continued. Now, if I froze that bird right now, and he's in flight, will he not fall? If a bird is now still, it can't remain in the air and be still. It has to be in motion to remain in the air. Well, it was not in motion and it didn't fall. everything froze, and the leaves could not fall. And the waitress walking with that second course couldn't walk. And the boy, young fellow, 21, 22, he couldn't continue the action. And when I released that activity in my head, then he continued the action and took the soup. And she continued to bring the thing. And I saw that when I woke from that state, everything changed in my world. That everything here is dead. And we are the animating power. Without man, everything would be dead. Nature would be dead. For God is in man. And were it not that living word is in man, everything here would be dead. And you take that power to arrest it, and everything is stand still. For the world is yourself pushed out. Well, the time is up until the next.